All right, good morning, everybody. Today is Friday, September 12th, and we have 3 minutes till market open. So let's see what we have here. Regarding the SARs, we don't have any SAR that hasn't been tested. And we do have an EMA rejection scalp. For the market open today will be for a sell, the trend-based one. And we have about a minute or 2 minutes till market open. So today's entry will be for a sell. I'm also looking at something else here. I also managed to bake in some buy and sell entries into the market open direction. So see, like for yesterday was a buy. So we'll see. So the signal today should fire for a sell. I'm also looking at possible market open rejection scalps. So we'll see if that fires right here on my left for on the 15-second time frame. Okay, so market is about to open. And let's see, in about 13 seconds. 2, 1. Market is open. I don't know why today didn't show that, but also as well. Yeah, so this would be the market open rejection scalp. And I think as well here. So Nas impulse entry is for a buy today right here, and it would have been, let's see. We didn't have a market open for US30 today. I'm sorry, we didn't have an impulse entry for US30. And we've tested the 15-minute EMA. So here what I will do, let's see if we can get, so there is an entry going for US30 right here. So one of our official entries. So it's currently running. And let's see if we can hit TP with this one. All right, full TP on this one for US30. And also my 10-point threshold is almost at TP. Remember, this was the retest of the 15-minute EMA. This was the retest of the 15-minute EMA. Let's see here. I have to clear this out. So full TP on this one, 46,006. So the market open rejection scalp would have ended up losing. But what am I looking at? The one we took here that won is this one, the 15-minute EMA. So 46,006. The one that just hit TP. And that was a retest of the 15-minute EMA. So this was EMA rejection scalp. take that for my journal, and then we update our stats. So here's 0.75% gain for the day. Um, Looks like we had also formed an SAR down here, a 15-minute and 30-minute. Yeah. Let's see what else we have. So the NAS impulse entry would have ended up being a losing one for today. So this is the one trade a day entry. So again, I don't take NAS, I only take US30, but this is the one trade a day. Impulse entries. I'm still in the 10-point entry for this other trade right here. So all right. So this one to my left is still a work in progress. This is just something new I'm testing. It would be like a market open rejection scalp that's based off of. So for example, if we're expecting, or if I'm expecting price to, so this market open rejection, I'm sorry, this market open scalp is based off of this one to my right. So this one to my right is on the 15-minute time frame. The one to my left is on the 15-second time frame. So if I'm expecting like a sell, I can easily maybe get a quick 40 pips of a scalp for that one. And again, this week, keep in mind, we've been creating all-time highs. So this week, of course, we have a lot of back and forth in the market. So we expect like some sort of back and forth and fake outs, etc. So but this one to my left is still a work in progress. This particular one right here, I don't take the NAS entries, the one trade a day entry. I only take the US30. So this whole week, there hasn't been a US30 entry. There has only been an entry uh for for there hasn't been a 9:30 a.m. entry. They're all entries for US30 on this particular one for the impulse has come post 9:30. So we've had trades for setups 2, 3, and 4, but we haven't had a 9:30 a.m. only entry. All right, my 10-point entry just hit TP because I think my 10-point entry was somewhere here for this trade. So let's see. Let's see if this market open will survive today. All right, so let's see if this one will keep pushing. So Nas has formed. Okay, so let's see. I need to work on this. So this signal shows up way later, so I need to make sure this. Anyway, so this signal should have fired when this one fired. So I'm working on the market open signals or labels. So I'll do some tweaks to make sure that this entry or this buy and sell labels for the market open fire accordingly. For NAS, the impulse. So the first entry for NAS came at 9:30 for the impulse. Unfortunately, would have been a loser. The second one has come up here. Again, I don't take the NAS entries, but we can just follow them and see how they go. And this one's normally, so this one is assuming if you're only taking one trade a day, of course, the first trade for NAS would have lost. So this one would be assuming you're taking the fourth option where you're taking every single trade between 9:30 a.m. to 10:59 a.m. But again, I'm not taking NAS. I only take US30 entries. Regarding the SAR and EMA rejection scalps, let's see what we have here. We have a 4-hour EMA that hasn't been tested. So this is another opportunity to take a buy. So we took a buy at the 15-minute EMA and it won on market open. So let's see if we can catch another entry here. So this will be 930.9 somewhere here. So this is where the 10-point entry will be. So if we keep coming back up like this, we might end up coming to take or to create a new all-time high. So given that it's Friday, so remember on Friday, you just expect the opposite. Sometimes you expect the opposite of what you or you expect the opposite of what you think will happen. So given that it's Friday and we are, what is it, 150 points, 130 points from the all-time high. So today we might just create an all-time high, especially given that it's Friday. But if not, if we don't create a new all-time high today, we might see a big dip for US30 all the way down here to like where we took the buy yesterday on market open. So we might see if we fail to, for example, even break these highs of these candles up here, then we can see a big dip later on in the day because remember Friday is like a trending day. So whatever direction it chooses to go, if it's going to be for a buy, we might push up heavily and again, the opposite is true as well. If it fails to create a new all-time high today, we'll probably see a deep uh, drop in price for today. But hopefully we can dip down and close this one out. So this NAS entry is still running back and forth. I don't know. I don't know if NAS as well is around the all-time high. Let's see. I'm assuming NAS created a new all-time high as well. That's probably not the best one to use. So let's do uh, 15 minutes. Let's go here. And we did have a bullish structure here. I forgot to look at it on market open. We did have a bullish structure there, and this has already been filled or used up. We do have a bearish structure that's right on the high of this candle. So we have a bearish structure there. What was I looking for? I was looking at NAS. Yeah, so NAS as well created a new all-time high. Yeah, so in all of these areas where we have all these all-time highs, we do expect some sort of whipsaw movements. The All right, so this NAS entry would be coming back up. Let's see. So this whole week hasn't been the best for these entries, this impulse entries, especially for US30. So I think all US30 entries this week, impulse entries have lost. So this week has definitely not been the best, and pretty much we had a heavy news week. We had PPI, CPI. Next week as well might not be the best week for them because we do have FOMC on Wednesday. So next week might also be another tricky week for these entries. But after next week, then or even after Wednesday, we should be back to the typical movement of this entries. Because typically for these impulse entries, it kind of shows you the direction that an impulse is coming from, or kind of it's also like a trend kind of thing. Shows you the direction that price is going to move in the next say 30 minutes or so. But if you have instances where we are playing around all-time highs, where we have heavy news events, of course, you expect price fluctuations with such entries. So I'm looking for these entries to improve maybe beginning of the week after next. Same as this one as well. Same as this market open rejection. No, I'm sorry, market open scalp that I'm testing out, this particular one. So for this market open scalp, is pretty much like a smaller version of this intraday market open intraday entry. So if we're expecting price to sell or buy, then would scalp the market open. So immediately market opens, we enter with like a 20 point stop loss and 40 point TP. Yeah, so for this one as well, it would undergo the same issue if we have price being around all-time highs and heavy news weeks. We might have back and forth movements. Because here you can see we had a big momentum to the downside or big impulse to the downside. So the goal is we were just looking for that continuation for about 40 points because we know that during market open, we normally have big impulses. So that's what I would be trying to bank on. But again, this is the first time I'm even looking at this. I did a little bit of back testing, and I think we're about to get a new impulse for US30 here. But this candle is all over the place. But let's see how this one will go here. So it would be for a sell right here for US30. So 20 point stop loss, 40 points TP. But that previous candle is, let me guess, it's like 10 a.m. Okay, makes sense. So that previous candle is all over. Yeah, but this previous candle is pretty big. We have a big wick to the downside, but let's see if we can push down on this one right here. But this big wick from the bottom shows that there's heavy buyers that are holding price up. So this is kind of another example where it might show that we might be going up for the all-time high, but we'll see if we are able to push down on this one. And I think also we did have a 15-minute EMA. I missed that. We did have a 15-minute EMA entry, rejection scalp, and it's on the way to TP. I didn't see that. I'll see if I'll re-enter, but I don't know if I want to re-enter this one. Let's see. So this one would be 1303.7. So the 10-point entry, I'm thinking, give me a second. I'm thinking of re-entering this one. I want to see where both of them are. Mm, all right, let me see. I will re-enter. I'll enter this one. So I entered the 10 point. So both of them I entered at the same place. So this is a 15-minute EMA entry. So let's see if this one will hit. And this is just our regular 1:1 risk to reward entry. It's based off of this retest of the 15-minute EMA because we closed above it and now we are retesting it. So we'll see if this one goes up. So 46,003 is the entry. And let's see if we can hit TP on this one. So 46,003. And this might be the last trade of the day, to be honest. 46. And full TP on that one as well. Full TP on the 10-point entry. No, I'm sorry, full TP on the change of structure entry, which is what we use to measure our official trades. So full TP on that one. So today, 2 wins for the official trades. EMA rejection scalp. So yeah, so it hit TP on here. So the only one I'm in is the 10-point threshold entry. And we'll see if that one hits. Yeah, so that one hit TP. So this one so this is 1.5% for the day. And we'll see if the 10-point entry will hit. This other one, I'm not too sure. So the other reason I took a buy here is this long wick. This big wick, because you can see they're trying to push price down, but there's definitely buyers that are holding the market up. So even this trade, I don't think it will survive, but we'll see. All right, my 10-point threshold entry is still pushing up, so we'll see. So at this point, it's like I still have one trade that's running here for a buy for the 10-point threshold, and I have this one as well. But again, yeah, this one I don't think will survive. The 10-point is still running. All right. So full TP on my 10-point threshold. The first trade of the day here, got stopped out. Again, this week hasn't been the best for the one trade a day entries, but at least I was able to capture this 10-point entry here. And also we were able to get that 1:1 entry. So I think we might be going now for the all-time high. You can see this big wick. So, a nice tell here is like this, when they tried to push price down here and then we had this big reversal back up. That's a big tell right there. So we already know we are creating long wicks from the bottom. So Right, I'll take a screen grab of this for my journal. Stop sharing. Give me a second here. So if we look, and I'll just show the journal. The journal for this week. So the market open is still, it's in drawdown, it's still running, but it is definitely in drawdown. So if we look at the journal, so this is the journal for the one trade a day entries. So you can see it's not the best. This week has been full losers. So Monday was the first trades were losers. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So if I add 19,000 plus $4,000 loss for today, it will pretty much catch up with last week's $23,000 win. So last week was full wins, I think. Yeah, so last week, Wednesday, Thursday, and even Friday were full wins, but I didn't trade Friday. So you can see between last week and this week, it would be at break even. And again, this is across 4 accounts. I will reduce this to 3 accounts, but this profit and losses is divided across 4 accounts. So for the threshold entry account, so this week has been pretty much one of the best weeks for it. So this today, from those 2 wins alone, 8,000. So 8,000 plus 7,000, that's 15,000 for the week. And last week was 8,000. For the structure change this week hasn't been the best. Today it should be a $4,000 win, so this loss should come down to about $9,000 loss. But you can see Monday was a losing day, Tuesday was a losing day, Wednesday and Thursday. But I think one trade yesterday and one trade Wednesday was like slippage, like just got tapped out even before stop loss hit, and then price went back up. But anyway, so this whole week for the structure change, which is this one that we took here for the 1:1, hasn't been the best again. But and I can upload the statistics now. But today was a $4,000 day on this particular Model 3, which is the structure change. So this week, unless we get any other entry for today, which let's see how the markets are moving. Yeah, I don't know if we'll get another entry here, but unless we get another entry for today, this week on the structure change, I'll end with like $9,000 loss. For the threshold entry, which is Model 1, I'll end with a so $8,000 today plus 15,000, so $15,000 win. And the impulse trade, which is the one trade a day, unfortunately will end with about $23,000. But again, that's across like three separate accounts for this one. So hopefully, those entries improve in the coming week. So again, these are the ranges that we are talking about here. So being stuck in such ranges for some of these strategies, you can get whipsawed back and back and forth. So you can see like here, price came up, took out this trade, and then it's coming back down. So this is like ranging markets are definitely one of the kryptonite to some of these strategies that I trade. What was I looking for? right? Like, look at that. Just taken out and then price comes all the way back down. Right, let's see. So we already took this, so we can have another. So price, so price is closing, in and out of the 15-minute EMA. So we just closed below the 15-minute EMA, but I wouldn't take this sell on the retest because if we turn on the zones, we don't have any supplies on here. So no EMA entry here. The only entry I can take here is the retest of this 4-hour EMA. So let's see what happens if and when price comes down here. But yeah, I think they're having a hard time breaking the all-time high because there is definitely that selling pressure. Where's that? Yeah. So if we break these lows here, we'll definitely have that push. And again, if we push down today, it will probably be like a 300-point push all the way to the market open yesterday here. So the last trade I think I can take here is this 4-hour EMA scalp. But if they push it down, I think they'll push it down with a lot of force. So this again, I wouldn't be too confident with it, but let's see how it goes. All right, so we're pushing down here. So yeah, this is the annoyance of some of this ranging markets. Sometimes you end up being faked out. All right, let's see where this is going to be. 38.3, so this is 28, somewhere there. All right, let's see if we get this. And this might be the last trade of the day. Let's see, because this is the last demand zone here. We do have a demand zone here, but we also have a 4-hour bearish order block here. So this might be the last trade of the day. And again, if they push down here, it will have a lot of momentum. And again, this is in the same direction as the market open intraday entry. And the expectation of the day so far, which has been for a sell. So this is 934. So the entry would be at 924. Now, if we create a crossover buy, I'm not taking that trade because so we've tested the EMA, but we need price to come 10 points away. So 10 points down before it goes back up and creates a crossover buy, which would be like a green X. And I think we're about to create that on this candle or the next candle. So if we create a green X, yeah, so this trade is invalid. So no need to look for the buy again because the probabilities now have started diminishing, against us because we want this push back up to happen after the 10-point threshold, but not before. Um, let's see. So other than that, let me see what else do we have. I really don't see much else. The only other trade that's running is this market open intraday sell. So we'll see if this pushes up. I'm sorry, pushes down. Um, yeah, I don't see any other entries here, but we can, and you can see prices holding that EMA, but unfortunately, we got the reversal before we got to our 10-point entry. Mm. All right, so the NAS trade would have hit TP. It did take a little while to hit TP. So for NAS, if you'd have taken both trades, you'd have been up one net position because we are going for a 1:2 risk to reward. US30, unfortunately, again for today, the first trade of the day, ended up losing, but you can see just got whipsawed and then price came all the way back down. But I'm hoping we get some improvements. So this right here, this whipsaw in the market, this is what wait, where is that? This right here, whipsaw in the market is what I'm expecting to end after next week because the reason for this is pretty much, you know, we're playing around the all-time highs. We are playing, it's a Friday. We are also playing in a heavy news week, and next week I think will be one of the heaviest because of FOMC on Wednesday. So during these periods, you expect consolidation. But if you take this movement out, typically what we're expecting for such entries, this impulse entries, is this move that we saw here. So that's the expectation that we will be having going forward. Yeah, but for today, there's really no other entry I see here. So I'll follow this market open. Normally this intraday market open entry, I only take it on one account, and it's like low risk. I think I risk $200. So if I lose $200. If I win $400. So we'll see how this goes. But other than that, this should be it for today. I will see you guys next week. Enjoy the rest of your week and your weekend. All right, guys. Peace.